here on my third episode. I'm super excited today. My special guest is Tiana, aka the Plumber Chick. I needed to mix it up. I need to mix it up because men are not the only ones that go through, especially not doing this construction, you know. And Tiana, also aka the Plumber Chick, is actually here today for to tell us about her experiences and not just being a plumber, not even being a plumber, but being an investor, developer, you know, working with L&I and permits and all of that stuff. And whether she's working in her profession as a master plumber or she's working in her profession as a developer, contractor, whatever it is, she has definitely seen her days down at L&I. We have ran into each other many a times, of course, down there as well. So I'm here to welcome her right now today. I'm super excited. Because I got a female to represent us. So what's up?
Hey y'all, I'm Tiana, aka the Plumber Chick. Behind the scenes with Paulette today, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of insight about my background and let you know what it is and what it's not.
Absolutely. So, okay, so where I want to start. Where do I want to start? Okay, so number one, have you ever had a project that either been shut down, that has been you have somebody called on you?
Now, you know what's crazy, Paulette? I had a project shut down, but it wasn't my job.
Okay.
It was my first project ever. I was just a plumber on the job. They had a GC. The GC told him that he had a license. He didn't have a license. He fell off the ladder. L&I came and put a red and white sticker on the door, and I was like, wait a minute. I'm a plumber. What does it take to be a GC? So I started doing my homework, and I'm like, wait, all I need is some insurance. Go down here, give me a tax account, get an ID, and the next day I'm just a GC. Like, it's going to take 24 hours and I'm going to be a GC. So I did my homework. 24 hours later, I was a GC. I called the investor up, like, listen, I'm a general contractor. I'm not just going to be a plumber. I'm going to take the whole project over.
Wow. Just like that?
Just like that. And from there, I was his contractor.
But let me ask you this. How were you able to transition from you're the plumber? How did he know you can actually GC too? Like, were you already on your own projects? Were you already GCing without having a license yourself? Were you already
Now, he didn't know.
How did you know you could confidently do it?
But he was an investor, and he looked at it like, okay, he didn't want to lose his money. So it was like, I didn't know what I was doing, but
you knew you could figure it out.
I could figure it out. Like, I went to go get the license. The crazy part about it was, I painted the house 10 times until my brother came in there and said, what kind of paint is you using? I said, I don't know, semi-gloss. He said, Tiana, you can't paint this house with semi-gloss. You done got 8 shades of gray in here. I said, well, what I'm supposed to use? You supposed to use eggshell. So it was like, that was my first project. I lost so much money in the project.
Right.
And he has a construction company. So I'm like, you need to come over here and help me. He was like, you been to college? It wasn't free. You paid tuition, right? I said, yeah.
Right.
He said, okay, well, learning how to become a general contractor is like going to college. You going to mess up. You going to pay for it. So you paying for another education. And I was like, whew. I paid a lot for that education, but I got it now.
But you got it now. So, all right. So when it got shut down, right? It got shut down for not having the permits, or did it get shut down for... because it probably didn't have a plumbing permit neither, because you can't get a plumbing permit.
It didn't have no permits at all.
No permits
No permits at all.
But
and then I got on the phone with some people that I know, and I knew an electrician, and I was like, listen, I need a permit. I got the plumbing permit, and then, you know, the GC can put their own mechanical permit. So it was like, I was in there. So it was like, now I got connections, because now it was like, okay, somebody might need me to pull a plumbing permit. I might need them to pull an electric permit. Okay, come on, we got enough permits in between the two of us to go ahead and get the jobs done.
So, but how did it feel when you walked in? Were you scared? When you saw that red and white, were you like, what the? Like,
I actually didn't know what it was. So
Uh-huh.
the customer didn't know what it was. We figured it out together. Like, we had to call the number, and the guy just was like, basically, you don't have no permits. You need a licensed GC. And he looked at me like, you a licensed GC? And I was like, no. And then it just was like, it's crazy because he's my investor to this day. Like, I do all his projects, and he had faith in me, but he had a good eye for painting and woodworks and molding. So he'd come in like, Tiana, listen, this not right. I need this done. And it was like, okay, it was like, we was learning together on a learning basis together. So now when I do my projects, I get on the phone and I'll be like, Justin, I need your help. And Justin to come through and he'd be like, well, it's not right. And they should have did this because Justin is an accountant, but when it comes to construction, he finish work, he got it down pat.
He got that finishing is rough.
He got it down pat.
Oof. I know that's the pretty part about it, but y'all can have the rough ends.
I'm done with finish work. I'm done.
That's the nitpick. That's the nitpicky part of,
Call me to do your plumbing, your HVAC, and your electric roughing. I'm put the sheetrock up, but don't call me up today. I'm not even going to pay.
That part right there. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So, okay, so you've never gotten a stop work order since that time at all whatsoever?
No.
Never had. Okay, so let me ask you this. How was it pulling permits? Because, I mean, do you use an expediter like us? Or a Philly permit?
Actually, I pull my own permits.
You pull your own permits?
I pull my own permits because I want to go down. I want to meet the people on a need to know basis. Like, because it's like, okay, like say you didn't need me, but when you first start expediting, if you be like, Tanya, you got somebody I can call down at the office, I'd be like, yeah, well, I got this person, go ahead and talk to this lady. And it was like I was down there every day. So it was like my job was actually to find the jobs and pull the permits. And I'm telling my guy, like, I'm finding the jobs, I'm pulling the permits, I'm keeping y'all working, y'all pull through.
Exactly.
So my job is to be downtown, your job is to be here and make sure that it get done.
Right. But you're still the master plumber in that retrospect. So not only were you pulling the permits, but in some way you were still your own project manager too, right? Like you had to look at the job to make sure that the job was correct, according to the
code.
City of Philadelphia code and that kind of thing, right? But pulling the permits, let's tell inquiring minds, is this really easy all the time?
No. It's not really easy all the time to pull a permit. Sometimes you might get a nice person, then sometimes you might get, excuse my language, but a-hole. But, it's like pulling permits, like you got to know. Like some customers be like, like for instance, you'll buy a house, right? Then you go pull a permit. You can't pull a permit because somebody who doesn't know to bring that sheet from the title company, because when they look in the computer, the title, the deed didn't transfer because the records is backed up. Yeah, records is backed up. So a regular customer think they just going down to pull their own building permit, but you can't pull your permit because you didn't know to bring the signature sheet, the HUD-1 sheet from the closing.
Yep. It gets real deep with that because you go down to the supplemental form and all kinds of stuff. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever ran into a zoning issue? Maybe you started work on a project and find out that it's not even zoned to do the work that you're doing. Maybe it was a duplex.
Didn't run into that kind of zoning issue, but my mom called me this summer and she was like, I want to tear my pool house down and I want the guys to come put it back together. So I'm like, okay. So I told them, I'm going on vacation. Y'all don't got to work this week. Just go to my mom's house, take the pool house down, put it back. Girl, when I came back, she had a house. Not a pool house. Household length of the deck. I said, Mom, this ain't no pool house. They done framed it out for a living room, a bathroom, a kitchen.
And they put a roof on it?
And it got a roof on it. With sliding doors and sit right on the outside of the pool. I said, girl, you going down. I said, did she get y'all blueprints for this? She's talking about, no, I ain't need no blueprints. I just told them how I wanted it done. This is my house. I said, okay. So across from her is a high rise. So when the man coming out, he was L&I. He came over and started taking pictures and he said, did you go through zoning for this? And she was like, I don't got to go through zoning. My daughter a contractor. I said, Lord. I said, Lord. So I called him and he was like, well, I just wanted a building permit. And then he was like, she got to get zoning for this. And I was like, well, technically, she shouldn't have to get zoning because it's still her own backyard. She did have an existing pool house. She just expanded it really into an in-law suite.
She made it a room. Once she do that, she made it a room. Once they put a roof on it.
No, the original one had a roof. She had a roof on the original one, but she expanded it.
Expanded it and changed it. And
I was like, whew. So that was the only zoning issue I went into. So now we stuck in zoning right now. So thank God I got good engineers and good architects. So I called Jim and I was like, listen, I need you to get somebody out here to my mom's house.
Right.
So I got Joe Berdini out there. Joe Berdini is an excellent architect.
Oh, that's my guy. I got him on speed dial.
So I called Joe and I was like, Joe, listen, I need you to get to my mom's house. He got out there. He got it drawn up for me and he put the permits in for me. He had to go downtown and do some paperwork. So he was like, I'm just going to put it in for you. And I was like, okay, just let me know when it's ready. I'll associate myself with it.
Yeah. Joe B. Yeah, that's my go-to for a lot.
I love
too.
him.
Yeah, I got a couple other ones that's actually my little pocket, my little best kept secrets. I just, it's hard to refer people out, especially architects right now. It's hard to refer. There are a lot of them that are really good, but they just backed up.
Okay.
Like 4 weeks out, 6 weeks out.
Yeah, because I had guys call me like, I want you to take this project, but I've been trying to get this guy to come out and do the paperwork. And I'm like, okay, well, who are you trying to get out there?
Yeah.
And then they'll tell me they're trying to get Joe or Jim out there. And I'll be like, don't worry, I get it done for you. And they'll be like, you can get it done, you got the job. And I'll be like, don't worry about it, I get it done for you. And they'll be like, well, you got him out here. He told me I had to wait 2 or 3 weeks. I said, it's all about who you know.
Yeah, and it's relationship, though. It's
important to have relationships.
It's relationship. It's all about, it's respect in this business, because we all don't do things the same way, even if we do the same business in some kind of way, shape, form, or fashion. You know what I mean? So dealing with your architect, having relationships with, and we deal with a lot of engineers, a lot of architects that's not even in Philadelphia, they're in Jersey, they're in there are other places not even in Philadelphia. They don't even know things. So we have to learn or know how to read plans and know what paperwork comes with the permit. So I already know what paper is going to be required before I submit just plans.
Gotcha.
It depends on the scope of the project. So for us, it's never just a permit. I need to know exactly what's going on. You got to tell me what you don't want to tell anybody else, so I can cover you.
Kind of like your attorney.
You know, kind of like an attorney. What stays between us, you know, and I'm going to let you shine, you know, but right here, I got you. You know what I mean? But you pay us to do the right thing the first time.
Gotcha.
And it's our job to be as proactive as possible. And then whenever vision come back, half the time the owners don't know what it is, of course. And some engineers don't, believe it or not, some architects don't know what it is either. We literally have to dissect it for them. It's like, this is what they mean, or this is why they plugged you, or this is why they did this. Why did you put this here? Did the owner ask you to do this? Well, no, I need you to take that out. I need you to not make it this, and I need you to word it this way. Okay. I'm asking myself, that looked like you did take the driveway. I don't see a garage. You call it an accessible area. But what is it? Oh, it's a garage. I don't see any door openings. So it's things that's why I always say, now it's people that know me, preliminary they send to me, and we look at it, me or my assistant look at it, and if we're good to go, depending on what's going on, then we go ahead and deal with that. But we don't do anything without zoning checks. We zone and check everything. Okay. Everything got to be zone and check. I love you, but I don't take your word for nothing. Because, again, it calls work on our side, and we can't get paid twice for the same job. True. And we only get 3 times to submit, unless you have a nice reviewer, and then they might let you go a 4th time before they cancel the permit. So I need to be able to get that so I can do what I need to do on that end. So let me ask you this. You actually, you are a, oh my gosh, you are a master plumber, you are a developer, you are a business owner with a trucking company. Do you have like a mentorship? Have you find yourself having to help other people, or are you bringing other people in with you to, like, you told me you have something coming up right now, right? Or you're currently in something right now. Could you share with our viewers exactly what you're doing? Because you have a GC class.
I have a GC class coming up. It's called Love and Construction. I want to say my partners is the love and I'm the construction, because I'm quarterbacking everything. I'm not wide receiving. I don't take advice. I just do it. But it's like I've been like just like straightforward. Just like my entire time is always not sit around and wait for nobody to do nothing for me. Just get out there and get it done. Yeah, yeah. So in my GC class, I'm teaching investors and actually realtors how to become general contractors, because they're getting into these fields. They don't know what's going on. They're hiring people halfway through the project when they asking the plumber that they called in for the permit. The plumber wasn't really a licensed plumber. Then they'll get L&I to come out to do an inspection. The inspection won't pass because they use rubber boots and they were supposed to use PVC boots, or they got the HVAC guy to come out and he used flex duct and he was supposed to use hard duct, or they got the electrician to come out and he gave you a 100 amp service and you were supposed to have a 200 or 400 amp service. So I feel like as an investor, it's important to either A, know how to be a GC, or B, GC your GC, so you can know the phases. So you can know, okay, first let me get my blueprints drawn up, then let me do my demo, and then what a demo consists of, because I've been in a lot of properties lately where I'm coming in secondhand on the projects and the framing is already up, but the chimney is still in, but you got your demo done, and then your wall is not flat, and then it's a bump out in the wall where you can have a whole flat wall, but that's because your demo wasn't done right. Demo isn't just take down the walls and take out the floors. It's take up the chimneys, get all your studs out if you're going to do new reframing and everything. Not just take the drywall off, leave the studs if you got new plans, and then your blueprints are going to change. So where your rooms at are going to change. The openings to the rooms are going to change. Like, understand what it is to get demo. Understand what it is to get framing. Understand the cost of framing, because a lot of people are investing, and then GCs are coming out and they're asking for prices, and it's, oh, this price too high. But now the price of lumber is going down now, but where a 2x4x8 started out as $398 and then went to $789 and then went up to $1269 during the pandemic, and the customer looking at it like, we spending too much money. Understand it from a GC's point of view. Like, get a takeoff. Learn how to do a takeoff so that you'll know, okay, I'm paying a lot, but it's not just labor. The cost of material is up too.
Especially if they include material, because sometimes if they had the material on their own, then it'd be something different, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You'll just be paying for labor, but a lot of GCs don't just take labor numbers; they take labor and material. But right now, at this point, a lot of us are taking just labor numbers because the material the customers are doing too much with.
It's too much. Yeah.
And I just want to teach people like the steps. Understand the steps of your project. Like, don't just rely on somebody. I just had a friend, for instance. He had a house sitting for 10 months. He got a hard money loan on it. So he got a hard money loan on it. You paying interest on it. Your general contractor, all he did was do the framing. He didn't have windows for 4 months because the GC told him the windows had to be ordered. But I said, well, you can go on Broad Street to Broadview and order windows. You can go to, everybody doesn't stock windows, but if you go to Broadview, you go downtown to the construction, on Washington Avenue to the construction mall, different people sell windows. Don't just let your contractor tell you, oh, I went to Home Depot, I went to Lowe's, they don't have your size. No, construction doesn't end with Home Depot and Lowe's.
No, it does not.
If he understood the process of construction, his building wouldn't have been sitting for 10 months and his interest payment wouldn't be through the roof with the hard money lender. Like, now he's paying back more than what he's going to make out of the project because the project's set for 10 months.
Right.
Me being a friend, I came and took it over for him, but now it's like, okay, listen, take my class because you need to be more hands-on with your project.
Right.
And when I'm teaching people like how to be hands-on, like the roofer tell you he did the roof, get on a ladder, look at the roof. Because if it's leaking 2 weeks from now and you got a warranty and then you got somebody who's really not honoring the warranty because you was just the investor and you was down on the ground and you hired somebody to do the roof. If you was a general contractor, me being a GC, if I hire a roofer and I have a customer, I got to get up on the ladder, make sure that the roof is done myself, because the roofer can send me pictures from a roof he did 3 weeks ago.
That's true.
Learn how to GC your own project. It is very important.
I agree with 1,000% of everything that you said. I have in my head, being a GC myself, I see other breakdown points to but just that part alone, you don't just teach them how to get their license. It's more than that. You teach them the ins, the outs, the paperwork, the phases is what I always talk. The phases. At one point, I was going to show them, at least learn the phases. Yes. That's how you really should get paid. Important. I will only pay my GC in phases. Phase 1 complete, done the same way the hard money come and do us. When they come into a project and they look and go, okay, this is done, that's done, now I'm going to cut you that money.
Yes.
That's the same way that you should pay, whether it's in 3 phases or 4 phases or whatever, depending on how big the project is, of course. I think that's how you should pay your GC, because at least you have a completed project.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you shouldn't pay them to finish until all of the permits are closed out.
Yeah. Can I say, she said all the permits are closed out, which means completed. Which means final, which means final. Tell them what a final looks like. Some people think that once they're done pulling the permit, this is a permit channel, y'all. So they're done pulling the permit. A final is actually what? Because people know what rough-ins is, but they don't know what what a final is.
The final is when the house is working. It is operable. Your toilets are in, your water is running, all your light switches are on, all your light fixtures are hung, all your breakers are inside of your breaker box, your floor is down, your paint is done, your baseboard is down. Final means stick the key in, you can move in. Just basically open the door, you can walk in, you can get a stager to come in and stage some furniture. It can go on the market. That's your final.
That final is important. A lot of people, they think once they've done all the work and everything's pretty and painted and it's beautiful and you get the stage and whatever it is you're going to do with the property, right? That they done with the permits. You're not, because you can then sell your property and then you have open permits and you have to get them all closed out. But now you have to prove it because now they expired or whatever the situation may be, you know, and then you have to start from scratch to get something that could have already been completely closed out anyway. That is important to know what
And
a
the
final
final is critique, because you got to have the thing that a lot of GCs forget, and I find myself doing that at times too, in that final, and you have to do it right then and there when the inspector is there. That anti-tip bracket is the most important thing of a final inspection. They will not. If you do not have that anti-tip bracket on the stove,
Yeah.
they said it could be Thanksgiving, the turkey could be in the oven, the kids could be standing on the front of it. They want that tip bracket on the oven. Without that tip bracket, the whole stove is flipping over.
Really? What that tip? Okay, well, let me ask you a question. What about the arc fault? What is it, that new thing?
Arc fault breakers.
Arc fault break. That was like a couple months ago. They've been doing that for the last, what?
They've been doing it for like a year now.
For like a year now? Yeah, I know that's a new thing.
An arc fault breaker is designed to stop your house from catching on fire, basically, because the breaker just automatically kicks off. Like, it doesn't give it a chance to spark or anything. They have arc fault breakers, and then on top of the arc fault breakers, the tamper-resistant outlets.
Right.
You know how back in the day we used to be able to stick a paper clip in one side? Well, now you can't. If it doesn't go in evenly together at the same time, it won't insert.
Yeah, exactly. See that this is the plumber chick, but also an investor contractor that has a GC class, and she doesn't just have a GC class. I don't want to call it a GC class. I think it's more than that.
Okay.
The GC class to me sounds too familiar, like anybody else.
All right.
I think I'm gonna talk to her. GC Academy, I don't know, GC program, like another word to it, because it's not a normal thing like everyone else. I mean, me included. I've got a program. I mean, not a program. I have a license class, only license. You know, I leave that other stuff over there. But what you teach is actually what, once we license them, they need someone to go ahead and show them exactly now what to do, because we can't show you what to do, because guess what they do? They come back to us. Oh, I have to pull a permit and I don't know. I said, that's not what we do. That's
we just
not
teach you
what
how.
we teach. We just do we don't teach you how to pull the permits. We don't teach. I haven't even gotten to that part, or if I even decided to do something like that. So my other question, I guess, is people think, let's do more on the plumber side, because that's what the plumber chick, most people know you as the plumber chick, right?
Yes.
And then they find out, oh, she does GCing too, and she does this too and that too. I didn't know she does trucking, and I didn't know she has a mentorship. I didn't know she, but your tag name is that because that's how you started
The plumber chick,
as a plumber chick, and then as you evolve, you know what I mean? As a plumber chick, do you find any other women in that space still right now, or is not that many women in that space?
There was another girl doing plumbing. I believe she was the plumbing queen. I can't say verbatim, but I believe she was the plumbing queen. But she came out. I don't think she's no longer doing plumbing, but I do know an electrician that's a female, and a young lady that's doing HVAC that's a female. And I was like, listen, like, this is like a powerhouse. Like, I'm really trying to get everybody together on like a project, because I tell them, like, anything a man can do, like, at this point, we could do it better, because no, like, disrespect to the brothers, but like the women, we winning right now.
That's right. Yeah. We winning.
And it's like, I like the fact that I can get up and I'm employing men. Like, it's like, I'm a female. Like, I'm doing this. Like, I pull up to the job site and they'll be like, we ain't trying to hear it. You need to get off the site. You ain't doing no work. I think that was like my 3 posts ago. I was working the jackhammer because I just was like, oh, y'all ain't going to just talk trash. I'm going to get out the truck. Okay, don't worry about it. I get out the truck and I break this street up. I'm going to get on this jackhammer. I'm going to get on this backhoe. We're going to get it done, because I just feel like anything a man can do, I can do it better. Like, who says that it's basically sexist? Like, because a man is doing it, like, it's a man's job. It's like no longer a man's job now. It's like a job is a job.
A job is a job.
A job is a job.
A job is a job. But just because I employ you don't mean I can't do your work. You doing this because I started with me.
Yeah, and I let them know, like, I can do it. Like, y'all do it now, but I can do it. I'm to the point where I feel like I don't have to do it. Like, I can be doing a lot of other stuff. But if I have to get out here and get it done, then I get out here and get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, all right, but you're still the one that just pull all of the permits still, right? On every project.
Yeah.
Okay. How many projects have you had going at one time?
I actually did for the real estate the real estate lawyer Rachel. I did 5 houses on one block.
Okay.
And then 2 triplexes and a duplex. The
Okay.
2 triplexes, I had the mechanics, the plumbing, electric, and HVAC. And then the 5 houses was start to finish demo and all the way down to final inspection.
Yes.
Final inspection. And I want to say that project was kind of like crazy because they actually had an investor from New York come in. And when I tell you, I let somebody GC me and I didn't even catch it to the middle. And it was like by the time the middle came, it was like
How
a
did that
disaster.
happen?
It was a disaster because he was like, you're supposed to do it this. So when I wasn't supposed to have the project in the beginning, I just had all the mechanics on the project.
Okay.
Something happened with their GC. He got in trouble and they was like, listen, we need you to GC this project. And I'm like, okay,
Right.
I can GC it with y'all backing me.
Right,
But it came
right.
to like, it came from you backing me to you wanting to basically tell me what to do, to me basically saying like, listen, well, then you got to bring somebody else. Then you bring somebody in to do this phase and I'm going to pay them. And then you bring somebody in to do that phase and I'm going to pay them. And then it was like us working over top of each other. And then it was like by the time you paid somebody to come in and do it, then the other investor didn't like what you paid somebody to come in and do. So then I'm still coming behind you, like cleaning the work up.
How was that even possible to have?
I feel like the project would have went a lot smoother if I didn't have an investor that felt like he was an investor/contractor. So he wanted to be in everything. I feel like the best kind of customer to have is really a customer who is basically a customer. They tell you what they want, they give you their insight, and that's it. So I had to catch myself because it was like really like the job from hell. But it was crazy because I learned a lot on that job. And then, hey, he would have just gave me his finishing ideas, I feel like it would have worked excellent because then I turned around and I did my own triplex. Like I rent properties too. So I turned around and I did my own triplex and I took a lot of his ideas, took a lot of his concepts for the finish, and then I added my little twist to it. And then I called him like, listen, you know you want to come look at my triplex? I'm done. And he was like, the crazy part about it was you learned on my dollar. I did, but it's college, right? You got to pay for it. That's what I said in the beginning. Construction is college. You got to pay for it.
Exactly. But so you ain't realize that you was actually that you was being GC'd as a GC.
Into the middle. And I just was like, hold up, wait a minute, this is too much. I can't do it.
Why? That's too much. That's too much. That's like stumbling over top of each other. I
Now,
can't even
it's a
imagine
difference when
what
I'm
that's
saying
like.
I'm teaching people how to GC a GC. I'm teaching you for knowledge, but you
Yeah.
still have to let your GC come in and do their job. You can, you
Right.
can critique the job after. You can know the ins and out of the job.
But you still have to let them.
But you have
do
to let
the
them
job.
do their job.
Right. You have to let them do their job. Wow. That is. I mean, for all that, you have a construction project manager, which a lot of people don't do. Which I believe that if you're a GC, once you get so many projects, I would say maybe 3, if 4, depending on the contractor, you should employ a contractor if you really want to do this on a bigger scale. As far as a project manager, and that project manager should have a contractor license himself, and that project manager should have knowledge of how to read plans, how to hire the architects, what the phases should look like. They should have enough GC knowledge that you could be essentially in two places.
Yeah, because I hired a young lady to be my assistant. She started out as an assistant, pulling the permits on the phone, doing stuff like that. But then it's like, okay, she needs to be able to go to the job site and see what's going on. So Keith Scott, I love him. He did a plumbing class. So she went to the class. So she learned the ins and outs of plumbing. Then one day we were short a framer, and I was like, girl, come here, put on your clothes. You got to get warm, girl. We going in this house, girl. We framing. Girl, we going to go help Frank. Girl, we framing. So she came from the assistant to taking the plumbing class to doing framing. She no longer works for me. She actually works for Rachel now, doing her project management and doing takeoffs and stuff for her. But I'm happy for her because she was a college kid. She excelled. Now she called me like, listen, Tiana, They got these jobs going up for bid. You want to bid them, da da da. And I'm like, perfect. Like, I love it. Like I told you, girl, you popping.
Yeah, because we already know.
Yeah. All I did was help you get a foot in the door. Now, you can't stay with me because you know you ain't going to be able to take off with me, but just go ahead and take the knowledge that I gave you and the know-how, because she's very intelligent, and just go ahead and get the job done.
And you know what? It starts with, because my assistant, the one, Bria is like that. By the time I say it, I'm already on it, Miss P, I got it. But you have to want to do it. They have to want to learn. No matter how much you teach a person, they have to want to learn it.
My motto is this. You're not a real boss teaches somebody how to be their own boss. I'm not a boss if I want to hold you back. So come to me.
Absolutely.
Learn what you're going to learn from me, and then go ahead and excel.
But with Snoop Dogg, Snoop Dogg said that why would I hire somebody that's not better? Like, there's things that she's better at than I am. And I love it. I freaking love it. Because why would you hire somebody that knows just what you know? Yeah. You want somebody to have those strengths in the areas where you're weak at, you know? So you hire somebody that's better than you, because that way I could continue to do what I do, and then you can grow enough where now you and having somebody that's better than you up under you, and then we grow in stages. But
because we might have two businesses in here, whatever you know how to do and whatever I know how to do. Now we run in two different companies.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't think I'll be having some talks and conversations, and she's like, well, what about this? And she comes up with things that as a regular client will come up with, which is good, because I get to, you know, and there's times when I'm working with a lot of times when I'm working with a client, she'll just stop what she's doing and just watch me, and she'll just look. Oh, I'm just learning. It's like, to me, I'm like, I'm in my zone, but at the same time, I'm excited for her, because I'm like, that's when ain't that like a teaching somebody and they actually gripping it and grabbing it, and they can actually do something with it, you know, and you keep it, you know. I have my mentee, she the same way too, you know, but this one right here, that she gonna be the one. I say, get it, whatever you need, go get it, because I don't care to be in charge. I got other things I'm trying to do. I want you to know this, so we just come at the end of the week, or we meet, we talk. Okay, you want to do this? Oh yeah, I think that's good. All right, see you later. Goodbye. You know, and you keep it moving, because that's how you grow your team, but not by yourself.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's exactly how you grow. So could you tell everyone exactly, or as far as your social media handle?
On social media, I am the Plumber Chick on Instagram. I am Tiana Edwards on Facebook, and that's how you can reach me. If you want to reach me by telephone, you can reach me at 267-312-3796.
No, wait, is that your personal number or your work phone? Okay, see, we can't be giving out no personal numbers. No personal numbers. Okay, that's her business line, the Plumber Chick. Just the theme of this space right here, the permit plug, everything was done in here by females. Okay. So I'm really big on female empowerment, Black Girl Magic, which is the reason why Black Girl Magic is actually written there.
Yeah, I said that wall is lovely.
Yeah, the Black Girl Magic. So I had a female artist who hand painted every single thing that you see. Okay. Black Girl Magic, I had her do everything because I wanted it to be, I figured this is a female company. Okay. I wanted to female do the artwork, you know. And I wanted to do more things that women were involved in. Like he was like saying trucking, you know. I mean, come on. It's just the icing on the cake. I am doing trucking now.
I want 7 streams of income.
Yes.
I did actually make a little change in the world. I do have an article on, I think it's on CBS or maybe ABC, where they wasn't giving the female, well, not even females, just people, just contractors who wanted the PPP loan. They wasn't giving it to people who had criminal backgrounds. So I had the lady from Washington, D.C. Girl, I contacted the lady from Washington, D.C. When I tell you they came down and did this whole little camera setup like this. What? And did a whole article on me. And I want to say 3 weeks later, we was able to get that PPP loan.
Really?
Yeah, I told them all the way to Washington, D.C. Like, why, we did our time. Like, you're going to hold it against us forever?
You're going to hold it against you forever? Listen, you can get a real estate license with a background. Why you can't? And that's licensed by the state. You know what I mean? It's, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, licenses and all of that, you know, that's why a lot of people become investors too, is because we have this thing that's holding us behind, you know, and we got to work 10 times harder, you know, to prove when we're actually better suited for the job, but we got to work 10 times harder. You know what I'm saying? So, but yet you have people that you pay that feel like they doing you a favor. by taking your job,
True.
by being, you know. But we actually also respect. I know for me, you know, I have my own little situation back some years ago.
But you know what's my benefit of being a female contractor, despite my history? Mm-hmm. When a higher up construction company goes to bid on a government contract, mm-hmm. they have to have female and they have to have minority,
yes.
and I'm both.
Yes, that's true. Because there's not a lot of female contractors, so you should anytime you should probably get a bid. You probably should win a bid a lot, right?
Not even me having to win the bid. Like I might have a higher up construction company bid, but they want to employ me just for that job because then they automatically get the bid. So it's like you have to pay me more. Okay, I'll come on a contract, but you have to pay me more than what I want to be paid, basically, because you won't win the contract without me. I'm female, I'm minority.
Yeah,
like,
double
I'm
minority.
a 2-for-1.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And you know what? Too bad you can't get paid. I wonder if you can get paid twice. But no, I'm saying because not just being a double minority, but also like as a contractor, mm-hmm. but then you're a licensed plumber. So you get paid on the contractor side of it, and then in that contract, that's just a contractor for your construction, and then you get paid as the plumber, who's a minority plumber, the same way.
Nope, you only get paid one time.
I wonder if that's can, you know, I mean, I'm just thinking about it. You know, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm just thinking about it. So, okay, so just so you guys know, on social media, wow, what was it? A year ago or so? No. I met Tiana.
Probably about 2 years ago.
Yeah. It was a few years ago. And then we always about our business. We always running into each other, either working or we hearing about each other on the phone or something. But it's always from us working.
Did you ever do that project for them?
No, which one?
I met you there in West Philly, I think, on the little block with Miss Terry and Saida when we walked through their house.
No, I pulled out of that.
Okay.
No, pulled out of that.
I know the lady didn't want to spend a lot of money on it.
Yeah, I pulled out of that. Did I pull out of that project? I pulled out of that project. I don't take on every project, mm-hmm. and certain projects, we could pick and choose a project we take. If I feel like the project is not been good, and I could be in the project, but depending on what we're doing, if we're just doing zoning, I'm stopping it at that. I'm not taking on the next one. Okay. Because I don't want to deal with that. Whoever's in charge of that project, that's too much work or too much clash, you know, whatever may be going on in that situation. Yeah, we're going to stop here. Okay. You know, so, and respectfully, right? But certain projects I would either refer out, like if I had zoning or something, I could do most zoning, but I choose not to do, I've done variances before, but that's too much work. It takes too much away from the things that we already do here at Philly Permit. Mm-hmm. And again, I don't believe in trying to me, that's like chasing money. We don't chase money. Listen, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the third episode of the Permit Plug Behind the Permits with my special guest, the plumber chick, and Paula the Mom Behind the Permits. Peace.